Welcome to the Sisters in Service podcast. My name is Kat Corchado, also known as the voice connecting women veterans nationwide. This podcast is for anyone connected with the military, from veterans, male and female, military spouses, military brats, even parents who may have children who are in the military. As an Air Force veteran, I understand the trials and triumphs that women veterans go through in service and out of service. And so I wanted to find a way that I could put it out there into the airwaves and let everyone know what we're going through and find a way and a solution to what's happening to us in the service. I also like to highlight these women who are business owners, they're entrepreneurs, they're bosses in their business. And so I hope that you will follow me, you will share, and you will subscribe to this podcast, which comes out every week on Tuesdays. And as always, please stay safe, take care of each other until next time. And it's never too late to start your impossible. Welcome, Sisters in Service, to another episode of our podcast. You know me. I'm Kat Corchado, the host. And today I have a special guest. I know I say that all the time, but this person is truly one of those that I've been trying to get on my podcast for a long time. Now, if you're not on LinkedIn, if you haven't heard this person, you need to get connected. His name is Jay Salters. Maybe you haven't heard of him, but maybe you've heard of Act Now Education. And so we're going to talk about those. And if you don't know either, get on LinkedIn and get connected. Whether you're active duty, veteran, military spouse, whatever, just get connected. But first, hi, Jay. Welcome to Sisters in Service.
Okay, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Of course. I've been wanting to have you on the podcast to talk about this because it's become such a big deal. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like every time I'm on LinkedIn, it's like Act Now Education, Jay Salters, Act Now Education. Let's do this. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like huge. Now, what you don't know is that Jay Salters is active duty Navy at an undisclosed location. I'm not going to tell you where he's at. But, he has a family, he's active duty, he's got Act Now Education, he's doing all of this stuff. And I thought, where do you find the time to do all this? So, Jay, tell us a little bit about how Act Now Education came about. Like, was it a thought? Was it a concept? Were there other people in the room when you were talking about this? How did it happen?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. So I want to say back in 2008, that's roughly the birth of Act Now Education. I was considering getting out of the military at the time. And everyone knows when you get close to your 10-year mark is your make or break. And I was a few years away from that. So I came in the military under the impression that I was going to be able to finish my degree and, learn skill sets and then have a possible good opportunity to land a job. But 6, 7, 8 years in, and I don't have a degree. I've learned skills, but not necessarily knowing how to translate that to the civilian market. So I realized that if I was to get out at that point in time, I would be ill prepared for that transition. So I was like, I'm not going to do that to myself. I want to do my due diligence and due care. So let me see what information I can come across that can help me kind of elevate my situation. And so I started looking into just different opportunities, came across a few. And so I went from not having any certifications to knocking out about 15 certifications, roughly 15 to 16 certifications within a year and a half. And then I completed my associate's degree and then got into a prestigious bachelor's degree program, all within a short amount of time. And I realized from doing all that there is a lot more opportunity in the military that I could take advantage of. So, military is going to get what they need out of you. And I'm definitely all for getting what I need out of the military. So I just kind of stayed in and focused on that. And then, like I said, being able to have that resource and come across those resources, it was intrinsic to me to share it with people. So I started doing so and telling other people about what's available because there's people that were closer to the exit than I was, and they didn't know about a lot of that information. But mind you, I'm not a public speaker. That's really not my thing. However, helping people is worth, putting myself out there. So my first presentation that I did where I talked about educational information, I still remember it. It was pretty bad. It was really bad. Like I was just going through it. It was horrible. But I
You
had a
didn't do
great.
the
I had.
whole death by PowerPoint, did you? Did you do that?
I think so. It was just a lot. I think I don't know how many slides I had, but it was a lot, and I still do have a lot of slides. So if you attend a new one, it's still going to be the same way. It's just more so I know how to work it now. But I was just more nervous than anything, and I was like, well, why would people listen to me? Because it was just I don't know how to explain everything about this information, but I'll definitely talk to it. But one of my senior leaders who attended it, he saw it and he was like, and I looked down and I was like, yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm never doing that again. And he was like, no, yeah, you will do it again. And I was like,
And again,
no,
and
I was
again.
like, yeah, you seen it. You seen what he's like. You seen that, like you seen. So you was in the room. It wasn't like you heard about it. You was in the room. You saw how bad. He's like, he's like, so just so we're clear, you would do it again. You're going to do it again. And so that kind of, propelled me into building Act Now Education from there. And it was just like after my third or fourth one, I hit my stride, was able to really help people achieve getting their bachelor's degree, associate's degree, knocking out certifications. I got awarded the Spirit of Bob Hope Award for being able to help so many folks when I was stationed in Hawaii. So it was a lot. It was definitely a lot, and then that's what propelled it. But it was always something like a passion of mine. Didn't really turn into what it is now until I say like maybe 2 years ago, which is crazy because it's like I'll do education briefs all over the world wherever I go. Um, but I got to a point where it was like people were like, "This is growing. You're going to need some support." And just having right people in your corner. And then I was able to come across a team that was pretty similar to what I am, like servant leader. We all have the same type of mentality to being able to
Like-minded
help folks.
mentality.
Yeah. And so it just turned into what it is now. And we grow about maybe 1,000 to 2, like this recently, just today and yesterday, we had about 4,000 people join in a short amount of time. So
That's
we're growing
crazy.
pretty
I mean,
fast.
it's
Yeah.
crazy good, you know.
Yeah, it is. It
But
is.
I do know that after you are done where you're at now, that you will be getting out of the military shortly after that.
Yes, ma'am.
How does that
Yes.
make you feel? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel nervous? Do you feel better now that you've got Act Now Education and are you going to be doing that full time? How does that make you feel when you think about your transition from the military?
I'm really excited about it because I'm going to walk through the whole process, and I'm going to show everyone it's going to be as transparent as possible, and they're going to see from my eyes what it's like for me to transition and the opportunities I'm taking advantage of because I'm going to try to highlight as much as I possibly can. So I'm excited for that. I know it's going to be some ups and downs, but I'm just excited just to go through that process and be able to really talk to people about, hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm experiencing. These are some things that because everyone's transition to be different. No one's transition going to be the same, but I hope it to help folks. Hope that it help folks find opportunities, give them encouragement to be able to do what's right for them. And I also want to make sure that it's not just for the active duty that's transitioning or veterans, is also for military spouses that they can kind of understand how to utilize some of these resources I'll be talking about and highlighting, just so they can know what path it is. Because there's a bunch of free resources out there. That's what we focus on. We just want to share that.
Well, I
As
think
far as
also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
like after I transition out, yeah, Act Now is always going to be a part of who I am. I'm not sure, even if I like had a job or not had a job, I'll be doing it. So I foresee that being being who I am. If it turns into an opportunity to where this is what I do full time, then stand by. It's going to be a good ride. But yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, or just say that, being in that transition process, it might show you where there are some holes, if any, because now you're
Yeah.
on that side of it. You could say, wow, I didn't see that. That's a hole. I need to fill that. That's a hole. Maybe not. Maybe you say, wow, my transition was amazing. And if it is, I'm going to have you on again to talk about what you did and why,
Yeah.
and
Well, I
why it
mean,
was amazing.
we definitely see a lot of holes now. And actually, we were just our team got invited to have a closed door conversation with Congress about veteran transition programs and how we can improve that process for veterans for transitioning military. So that was unique, and we had our VP Mickey Patel. She went out there and represented for us. So yeah, I definitely want to make sure that we have our impact um, and have that type of effect. And so yeah, we're looking to fill those gaps, just like you have. The U.S. Postal Service, but you got UPS and these other services that help deliver. Yeah, we're just covering down on the areas missed. So we're trying to do our best to help out and support.
Right. When did you know, or did you know, when Act Now education was becoming a big deal? Like can you remember that day when you said, okay, this is getting huge?
I don't know. To me, it's like I said, it's a passion as I live in it. So uh, it's hard for me to identify that. I would say like, yeah, when I have the team, like I have 700 people volunteer. Like literally, we have 700 people volunteer when they apply for some of our programs. I was like, wow, we don't even know what to do with 700 people. And then also the team, the phenomenal. Like when I see some of my team members just doing great things, like
Mhm.
yeah, just improving, helping, and supporting the community. I think that's when it really clicked to me. Yeah, and when I say the growth, like the funny thing is, like, so I want to say last year we were at 15,000 folks, or we just hit 15,000 in December. But it was crazy because we were setting goals. I was like, hey, so for organizational goals, here are some things that we're trying to hit. And so I think we were at like 12,000. So I was like, we're trying to hit 15,000 by the end of next year. It was in December. And I said, yeah, we're at 13,000. We're trying to hit 15,000 by the end of next year. We end up hitting that like within 3 weeks. And so our next conversation with the team was like, uh, I don't know what other goal that we need to set because we just hit this goal and didn't think that was going to happen. But then that's when it really took off. And I say our Coursera partnership. That's when I was like, yeah, this is really going to change the game for a lot of folks. I think that's absolutely.
Well, when other
Coursera.
organizations are like, hey, we want to partner with you, or we want to be a part of what you're doing, because what you're doing is helping a lot of different people. And you have over 40,000 resources for the military community on your website?
No, so there are over 40,000 different resources out there for the military community. We highlight some of those free resources. And so that's what we focus on mainly. We provide about 4 different resources, which is the Coursera, Intuit, Splunk, and then the master's program and the certificates that come with that. So those are the main programs that we support directly. And then overall, we just highlight some of the other programs. So we're the resource for the resources. So we share the resources that can help
So
folks
you are
find out.
the resource for
Yes,
the
yeah, yes,
resources.
yeah,
I'm using that
yeah.
as a title, I'm just going to say.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, that's actually in our head. Yes.
So how did you handle the growth of it? Because you're active duty, you're trying to handle the growth of this. Plus you're doing this while you're overseas. How do you do that?
Do you want all the receipts? I can give it to you. There's a few more things. So I actually also have a business as well. Outside of that, I'm a business coach, and so I've been doing a business. I've been coaching businesses for about 4 years now, and quite a bit of them have been really successful and growing. So I enjoy doing that. So yeah, I have a lot of different things. You just got to make time for yourself and make time for what's important and prioritize. I'm not able to get to everything every time, but you want to make sure that you kind of automate what you can, and then just every day set the day what you're going to get done, what you're going to push off to the next day, and so on and so forth. I'm trying to get better at organizing that. Like I said, it still takes practice. It still takes patience and being able to stay with it and discipline. But I don't think I would have wanted it any other way. I mean, like I said, everyone knows my days are pretty jam packed. So I'm working, and my job that I do for the Navy is not it's a very demanding job. I would say, like if you're expecting to work an 8-hour day, that's not what I do.
You're like,
So,
no.
yeah. So
It says 8 hours
sometimes,
on paper, but actually it's a lot more than that.
yeah, sometimes I'm at work at 2200 or 2100 trying to get some stuff done, just because of the demands of the type of job I have. But then outside of that, like I said, I just make sure I allocate. I use my calendar. Like if I lost my phone, my calendar,
You're
I'll be lost.
lost.
Yeah, but I just take it a day at a time. I mean, it could be overwhelming, but you build up to it, right? And so, like I said, I set times for certain things, and they can't see this. I'm not sure if people can see this, but you see, this is my hourglass, right?
Right? Yes.
45 minutes. So 45 minutes. When I flip that, I know that whatever task that I'm doing, I have 45 minutes to complete that. And then if I can't get it done, I'll save it for later and then move on to the next thing.
So doing all the things that you're doing, by the way, I just don't know where you hide your cape underneath your uniform, but how do you take care of you? What do you do for Jay when things are just, because, as an entrepreneur, things can come crashing in on you. You've got personal life, you're overseas, you've got your business, you've got all of this stuff, and sometimes it just closes in on you. So when you feel that stress or when you feel that need, what do you do for you? Like, tell our audience, because as entrepreneurs, we don't take care of ourselves sometimes. So what do you do for you that you enjoy that doesn't involve anything with Act Now, nothing with your business, nothing with the military? What kind of things do you do? What kind of things do you enjoy?
Well, absolutely. So working out is definitely something that helps me get mental clarity. And then I recently just started to meditate, where, I'm just taking some time. It's not the meditating in the sense, but it's just me just sitting down and taking some time. Whatever thought I have in my mind or clearing my thoughts, that's really what helps me kind of understand or prepare for my day. Those two things alone have been tremendous. And then also positive affirmations, surrounding yourself with positive people, positive leaders, it definitely helps out, because you don't necessarily get stuck in just the busyness of the day. You take a pause and you're able to reflect on conversations that you have with folks. So I'm always talking to someone, always learning about something, whether it's in a book or it's something that I'm engaging a conversation with someone. So those are the key things. And I would say my go-to outside of that is I'm a foodie. So I love eating food. Luckily, I do keep busy, so I'm not sitting just eating a whole bunch of food. But I just find what kind of calms me down, and I've been through a lot in my life, so I've learned how to be resilient and learn how to just not be reactional to everything. It's not conducive. It's good to be proactive, but not reactional to everything. Just give yourself some time and space to kind of think about what's going on, and then make sure you invoke the powers that you have when you make a choice. So you just want to be able to have control over the situation and slow things down for yourself, and then make a determination on what you want to do and how you want to decide.
I think being reactive is exhausting. When you react to everything, it's just exhausting. But on top of the fact that when you're talking about, being resilient, I think I learned a lot of that in the military. And just, people say, oh, you're always so resilient. And I was like, sometimes it's not by choice. Sometimes you don't want to be resilient. You're just like, I just want to have a super temper tantrum right here. But you're like, okay. And knowing also what you can control and what you can't control, even though it might suck at the moment, you just have to take a breath and go, okay, what can I do to make this better? And sometimes there's nothing you can do, like COVID. When COVID happened, there really wasn't anything you could do about that. You had to learn how to cope. And being resilient was huge in that in dealing with COVID. But speaking of food, I'm a foodie too. What kind of what's your favorite food?
So by far, I'm from New York, so pizza is definitely my go-to. New York style pizza. There's nothing else, but yeah, New York style pizza is my favorite. But my family, my wife is from Singapore, and so Singapore is like the food capital of the world, and I just enjoy when we go over there. I mean, they have it, you name it, they have it, and it's delicious. And yeah, it's just, so much care, passion, soul into the food. I just love it. But yeah, I can go on and on about food. I just love eating different things.
You're not a Virgo, are you? Are you a
No, I'm a
Virgo?
Leo.
Oh, okay. Because my husband is a Virgo, but he loves pizza. When I first met him, he could eat pizza 7 days a week, and I'm like, we're going to change that. But he
Yeah.
also cooks. I call him a chef, but he loves to cook. And I have a wide palate for food only because I was a military brat. So going to different countries, my father would always make us. I don't know if he ate. I don't remember that part, but he would make us eat off base. And so you learn how to like different foods. So there's very little I don't eat, but I'm always willing to try different food. You know what I mean? How else do you become a foodie if you don't know about food? If all you eat is
Yeah,
French
yeah,
fries and
absolutely.
chicken, like
Yeah, absolutely.
chicken fingers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what's up next for Act Now Education? Are there any new endeavors? Are you just maintaining what you have right now? Is there anything new coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so the next thing that we're trying to focus on is our website. And so we're developing a new website that's going to be able to help provide the resources directly to folks who need it. In that way, it's more of a seamless process. Uh, Currently, most of the people just reach out to me on Veterati, and I talk and I do a one-on-one with them, and I provide them with the resources that they may not know about. But that's not scalable, and that's not conducive to everyone, right? For every one person I talk to, there's probably 1,000 that could have used the same information. So um, by developing the website, it'll help us, or this dashboard, it'll help us be able to help more people and find opportunities. Outside of that, we're just looking to expand and grow and continue to provide resources. And I would say, like, a few years ago, if you told me that we were offering free master's degree, I'm like, yeah, that is the pinnacle of what we were trying to do, and we hit it. And so now it's just to see what we can do and how we can help.
So if maybe I'm new to being a veteran, I just got out the military, or I'm active duty, but I've only been in a little while. What would you say to me to get me to look at Act Now Education? What would if I got you as my mentor on Veterati, and how would you get me to say, wow, we've got all of this, you should take a look at it? So if I said, I'm really looking at getting a certification, what would you say to me because there are still a lot of people, not people, but organizations who make you pay for certifications.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the thing that we would tell you is there are resources can be extremely impactful to your personal development, your career, your trajectory, upskilling, reskilling, or you trying to pivot into a new career opportunity. So whether you're within the military for 6 months, whether you're about to retire after 30 years, whether you're a military spouse or you've been a veteran military spouse, there are resources out that can impact you and change your life for the better. And so the reason why Act Now Education, in my stance, I feel is vital because it's a community-based organization where a lot of other organizations, they may offer, great opportunities, but you don't really get that opportunity to connect with your peers or those in the military community. And you'll see a lot of people roger up in the group if you have questions. And that's the thing I like about it, because there's no way I can answer 40,000 people to have questions, right? But essentially in the group, that's what we do. And everyone cares about everyone's input. And there's nothing that's, you get the support that you need. So I've seen people couldn't find jobs, found job opportunities. To give you an example, we had on our orientation, which we do every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, We talk about different topics, but we had a few people that jumped online to kind of go through our orientation. Our orientation just covers how to use some of our resources and what's available. Well, we had NBC on there and they were talking about job opportunities. And so they say, hey, these are job opportunities. If anyone's interested in applying, we're trying to expand our veteran forces. What ended up happening was one of the listeners that was on the call just, applied. She got a job within 6 months of her transition. And she's going to be working for Telemundo for NBC. And she's from PR Puerto Rico. And that's like, for her, like, that's that she would never thought she would be in that industry, and she's super happy about that job. To include, they also offer 2 internship opportunities for someone to go to Paris to support. I think it was either a film or a TV show that they were developing. They needed interns, and those 2 people came from our group. And so you just never know what opportunities are out there unless you're actively searching for it. But we try to make it easy by posting everything on our page and in our group to make it a seamless process for you to find those resources.
So when NBC just comes into your, wow, were you shocked? Did you know they were going to be there?
So yeah, I went to an NBC event one time, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome. And then I contacted one of the I think one of the moderators there, and I said, hey man, I kind of do something similar. We have usually a large audience, anywhere from maybe 300 to, I think the most we had was like 600 people on in the weekend. Like every Saturday, we have people show up. And so he showed up and he was just blown away because we had about 455 people there. And we were just talking about, some of the issues that people have transitioning and, some of the things that, imposter syndrome, how to step aside from that. What are the things that you need to do? Finding mentors, all that, networking, the importance of networking. And he got to talk about his personal experience. And he was like, man, he said, this webinar, this orientation resonated so much with me, and it connected me back with the military community in ways that I didn't think it was. He said, I went back to my job and I was like, what opportunities do we have that I can share? And then he went to the tech department, and the tech department was like, yeah, we got these opportunities. And next time he came, he shared those. And so people got jobs off of that just because of the conversation we had. So I'm glad it has some impact like that.
Yeah, you just never know. And that's when you're a big deal. You know what I mean? But I think also it's when people get out of the military, of course, they don't know what they don't know. But when they go into an interview, and I was talking with some women veterans, and, they were saying, oh, I'm trying to get an interview, and when that interviewer says, do you have any questions for me? And what do? We go like this. We go, nope, I'm good. And I said, no, here's what you should be asking. Number one, what is your, veteran community like? Do you have one? How many veterans do you hire? How many are male versus female? And if they can't answer that question for you, maybe that's not the job for you.
Yeah.
Or maybe start the environment, be the one that starts it there. But I think it's, we tend to think of our veteran community, and even, not so much our active duty, because you are active duty, but in our veteran community is, we think we're here by ourselves, and we need to educate those organizations who have no idea what it's like to be a veteran and say, this is what it's like for us. So anytime I get, in front of organizations that really don't understand, I start giving them statistics. This is what's going on. And they're shocked by it because they don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think, we need to start holding hands with each other and saying, and helping each other, us educating them, they're educating us about what they have, and we educating them about what it's like to be out of the military and how difficult it really is. So moving forward, how can people like me help Act Now Education? What can I do? What can we do to help out?
I would say, one, join the group. Definitely, you will love what you see there. And then just spread the word. If there's resources out there for so many different individuals, invite them, let them know about it, tag them, help them take advantage of it. Do some of the resources together. You can knock out Coursera courses. You can get, You Google project management, which is actually worth college credits from ACE, which is American Council of Education. You can put that on Credly as you get your badge. There's a lot of different opportunities that are there and ready for you. All you just have to do is apply. So essentially, sharing the information, being able to help others take advantage of it, and that's what we're all about.
And the other thing is going to the website. So what's the website again, Jay?
It's www.actnoweducation.com. And then you'll find everything on there. You can see how to join the group, how to sign up for orientation. And then the resources are listed there that we have.
And even if you just go there and click around, I like kind of exploring on my own and then finding out, wow, this is really cool, but I need more information. And that's when you would, join the group and ask the questions necessary. Any last words, Jay, for anyone who might be listening?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I would like to bring up to the forefront is the reason why we're so passionate about this. Like I said, we focus on the servant leadership aspect, but we are really trying to have an impact on the military community in a positive way. 22 service members take their lives every day. And that's not due to, TBI. That's not due to post-traumatic stress disorder. That's not due to combat wounds. It's mainly due to the lack of opportunities. And that's a study that came out that talks specifically about that. And so we want to do our due diligence in making sure that people know that there's opportunities, there's resources, and there's things that can help them change the trajectory of their career and help them. Just to give you an example, I had one young lady, she was making about $45,000 in the DMV area. And, that's tough. That's really tough to make it
in
that
the DMV
area.
Yes, absolutely.
So, for being in DC and making that much money, she reached out because she was interested in knocking out her CAPM. And I helped her out, kind of talked about, I was like, hey, you want to do the PMP rather than the CAPM. You have the experience, you have the background, and you just need to translate your skill sets. And so I worked with her for about a week or two. And then we came up with a plan for employment and was able to get her a job that was twice her salary. And so she looked at that opportunity, and then I got another opportunity for her to get another job at Uber Business, making 3 times her salary. And so now she's okay. She's good to go, but she would have never known about what the resources are out there for her to take advantage of. And that's the success story that we're looking for to kind of help a lot of people. Like I said, everyone's situation is different, but we want to be able to help the folks so that they don't feel like they're at it alone. And I know a lot of times people do. So if you do feel that way, please reach out to me. My network is your network. I'm here to support. The team is here to support. Join our group. And we'll see you there.
Well, Jay, thank you so much for taking the time. I don't see your cape flying behind you, so you must have hidden it.
My wife has a cape.
You're a superhero. Okay. Oh, your wife has. Oh, God. Okay,
yeah,
I got
my wife
you.
has a cape. Yeah. I'm behind her, towering. She's taking all the bullets. Yeah, she's.
Talk about a power duo, man. That's.
Yeah,
Well, Jay, thank you so much for taking the time to do this and, telling, our audience more about Act Now education and about you and your passion behind it, because I think that that's huge. It's not just a here it is, utilize it. You actually show people how to use that. So I go to a lot of pages where it's like, yep, here are the resources and click on the link and do what you got to do. So I love the fact that you kind of guide people through it. And I love that aspect, because that's what makes you stand out, and that's what makes Act Now education different and makes it the resource of all resources. So, yes. And for everyone listening, please stay safe, take care of each other. Until next time, and it's never too late to start your impossible.